This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 337 of the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network, brought to you by Dr. Rose's Remedies, Total Saddle Fit, and listeners like you. Today we have some guests from the USDF Nationals, amateur rider Amy Gimbel and pro rider Mike Suchenik.
This is Reese Koffler-Stanfield from Georgetown, Kentucky.
And this is Philip Parks from Rockwood, Ontario, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show. Hey, Reese, it's just you and me today.
Hi, Phil. I know, it's just us. Well, we had Glenn. He'll be coming on the show a little bit later and had to jump off, so he left us alone. You never know how that goes.
Yeah,
so
running
far.
things by ourselves now.
Yeah, so far so good, but you never know.
Yeah.
So
we're kind of doing a wrap-up from the USDF Nationals. How did your show go?
We are. You know, it was overall a very, very good show for everybody. The weather was pretty decent, which is good. It's always that wild card here in Kentucky this time of year.
A little funny in the November time, huh?
Yep. But overall, it was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. And my guy, Elin Court, Town and Country Elin Court, was quite a good boy. He really was. We got our money's worth, to be honest, because we were in two different locations of the horse park. My open third level was outside, and my third level freestyle was in the main All-Tech arena, the big arena. So it was great for him. It was great practice to have to go outside and have the jumbotron and the weather and the ferns and the
whole thing. Yeah,
the whole thing. And
getting more experience, right?
Yeah, he is. And honestly, he was really good. The scores were super tight, as you would expect in that kind of national championship. I was really happy with my whole test, except my reinback.
Oh,
and
darn rainback.
I hate that rainback. And poor Hello or Elin Court, it's not our best thing. He's a big guy, and he just struggles sometimes with the rainback unless we come in perfect to a halt, which he came out a little bit with his hind legs out and around the turn. And so that was a little bummer because honestly, if he'd had just a slightly better rainback, he would have been very different in the placings. He was 11th though. Between second and me were literally not even 1.5 percentage points. So very, very tight scores.
Crazy nationals. Yeah.
Crazy tight. I think I was out of the ribbons by 0.3 of a point. So really tight, but I was really proud of him, and he did a really good job besides the rainback. And then for my freestyle, I was so proud of him. He really honestly put in a test. I was super proud of him. It was a 70%. And that's a really big ring, and it was absolutely gorgeous the way they had it decorated. So there's lots to look at, and judges booths and people walking around, and he just was great. He finished third overall, and for a 6-year-old, he was fantastic. So he got a lot of experience. He showed himself, I felt, really well, and we all enjoyed it. It was fun to have it here in town, and it's here one more year, so you'll hear one of our guests, Amy Gimbel. She's coming on the show later. She and I have already pinky sweared that our big goal is to get back
and stable next to each other.
And stable next to each other. We had such a good time. So
awesome. Well, congratulations, and I'm glad it went all pretty well. And congratulations to everybody who showed, and now it's now a little bit of that downtime, I guess, for most people.
Yeah, exactly. And it really was a big deal for everybody to get there, and congratulations. I hope everyone had a super safe trip home and all those good things. So yeah, it was a good one. So it was a fun week. And now, yes, a little bit of downtime for actually Hello is I think he's probably very muddy. I just really haven't. He has a complete week off, and we'll see if he wants another. But he's been really tired and sleeping. He goes out and comes in the afternoon.
Catching up on some lost sleep.
Yeah, he does. It's
his
so
mind
sweet.
blown a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell he's like, oh, I'm really tired. So he's had an easy week, and that's been great. So really good stuff. So. Yeah, our next thing is Florida, so we do
Right.
have a little bit of quiet time now.
Yeah, it's time to think about the holidays, and for you guys, Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming up, and all kinds of good stuff like that. So time for the
Exactly.
horse riders to take a break for once.
A little break, especially this week for him. So really good. So Phil, we have some stuff in the news. Do you want
We've
to?
had some really. It's been a tough week this last week. My coach and mentor Neil Ishoy passed away last week, and it's been a little tough. Not very much fun here in Ontario. So yeah.
Well, Neil, I never met him, but he was a wonderful coach for many, many people. He was born in Weston, Ontario. Ishoy began his international competitive career as an eventer, representing Canada in 1980 as an alternate for the Olympics in Fontainebleau, France, and in 1982, the World Championships in Germany. After a 17-year hiatus from competition, he switched to his first love, dressage, with great success, sweeping the Grand Prix classes at Dressage at Devon in 2001 aboard the Grey Oldenburg Gelding Andiamo time. At the same autumn, the pair won the Swartsky Canadian League Dressage World Cup at the Royal Horse Show, scoring 74.4%, and in the Grand Prix Freestyle, earning a berth at the 2002 World Cups in the Netherlands. Unfortunately, Ishoy was unable to attend because the horse was injured from a knee injury. In addition to
I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because Neil was never really interested in doing a lot of showing. And so, from the little piece there that he had 17 years of not competing at any horse show anywhere, and then he just sort of came out with that Grand Prix because it was an amazing Grand Prix horse that he had sponsored for him, and he was just really a guy that really enjoyed the training of the horses, and a lot of people brought to him difficult horses, and he really enjoyed a challenge and sort of fixing horses or getting them to work for their riders, and he did an amazing job at that. And I'm not sure I know any trainer that has finished so many, brought so many horses from 4 years old or very young to Grand Prix, and then he didn't care about showing. He just really liked to do his thing, stay at home. He taught some clinics, and he enjoyed. Really, I haven't met anybody that's really just enjoyed doing their own thing, sort of just training and not having all the money and the fame of being out there winning all the medals. He's just sort of behind the scenes guy who helped so many people, and we're going to miss him a lot. So condolences to Cindy, his wife, and his 2 children, Kayla and Zach. So I think that's about enough of that. The other thing in the news is that Paris is going to be hosting the 2018 World Cup finals of dressage and jumping together. So
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's time.
Meet
We
your
got to organize our Paris trip. Yeah.
I think we have another trip, kids. 2018.
Yeah.
Can we apply now for our media credentials?
Your dressage radio show is going on the road.
Yeah, we're going on the road in how many years? Yeah, no, super excited about that. So, they just announced that today, so that was great. So, really looking forward to that. Well, right after this commercial break, we're going to come back with Glenn. He's going to talk, our Glenn the Geek, our producer and owner of the Horse Radio Network. He's going to come on and tell everybody about the Radiothon that is happening on November 30th.
Dr. Rose's Remedies Skin Treatment Salve and Spray are 100% all-natural products. They are anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal. Dr. Rose's are made with all human-grade ingredients and are safe and effective for treatment for all manner of cuts and scrapes on your horse. And Dr. Rose's is the must-have product here at the Horse Radio Network headquarters to keep PT Scooter's delicate white pasterns free from dew poisoning and scratches. Ask for Dr. Rose's at your local tack store or feed supplier, or visit them online at drrosesremedies.com. That's drrosesremedies.com.
Well, for our first guest this evening, Glenn the Geek is here. Glenn,
I get to be a guest?
Yeah,
you're a guest.
I'm sorry.
I feel special.
I didn't know how to intro you, Glenn. You're always here, but now you're here in official capacity.
I'm the big kahuna. I'm the boss.
Big kahuna. When
That's
the
right.
boss calls everyboody, as you know, it's
Yeah,
a little
that's right.
nerve-wracking. You're like, oh, man, the boss is in.
Hey, you
Philip,
guys,
behave.
the challenge has been thrown down. The battle is on.
Little nervous here.
The battle is on with all of the hosts trying to outdo each other for the radiothon to get to big name guests.
I know.
So you guys better get working. I mean, we have a big one we can't announce yet, but we're actually pre-recording it because he's a little busy. But we have a big one to recording tomorrow for Horses in the Morning. Debbie Laux from the Monty Roberts Show from Horsemanship Radio. She's working on a couple of really big celebrities out of Hollywood that they know. So, chop, chop.
We gotta chop, chop.
So Glenn, tell us about the radiothon. We haven't talked too much, I don't think, on the air. So tell us all about the radiothon.
Well, this is it. November 30th. It is 12 hours live. Horse Radio Network Radiothon brought to you by Weatherbeata is our title sponsor. Horselovers.com is our secondary sponsor. I'll tell you about that in a second. And we have about 30 other sponsors for the day. We are going to be giving away almost $3,000 worth of prizes all day long.
Available to the hosts, right?
Yes, available to Philip and I.
Except for the hosts. We'll have over 20 hosts from the Horse Radio Network involved. By the way, isn't that amazing that there is 20?
I know. It exploded. The Christmas party is going to be out of control.
Yeah,
people.
I think this is our Christmas party.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, right. Exactly.
And what we're doing is Dr. Wendy and I, Dr. Wendy from the Driving Radio Show and I, she's coming up to the studio here in Ocala, and we're going to MC it all day. But we're having all the different hosts, not all of them, we can't fit them all, but we're having many of the different hosts from the Horse Radio Network are taking an hour each all throughout the day, including dressage.
Yes.
And I think you are doing, is it the 6 o'clock hour?
That's right. I am 6 o'clock and I'm by myself because Philip is on vacation.
Yeah,
people.
Darn
What
Philip's
is this?
going on vacation. So
On our big day, Philip. What's going on
Anyway.
here, buddy?
Deserting nobody.
I had the schedule a long time ago, way
Yeah, you
before the
did.
radio.
yeah, we didn't
You
even
know how I love to do live radio, right?
Yeah.
I
That's
think,
right.
yeah, exactly. I think he's just chickening out now, people. That's what I'm saying.
He took an awful long trip to Chicken Out.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
That's an
exactly.
expensive Chicken
Could've
Out.
gone somewhere a lot closer.
So 6 to 7 o'clock is going to be dressage hour, and we need the help of the audience.
Please.
It-
I especially.
Yeah,
Reese.
Reese needs your help.
Reese needs your help.
because she's going to be here with Wendy and I. So we'll all be hanging out, and we're going to book some. Reese is working on that now. I'm helping her out a little bit, and we're trying to get some big name guests booked for the dressage hour. And we're going to have them on. But the story of the day is it's just a Christmas party. I have issued an executive order from the president's office stating that you can start drinking eggnogs at 9 a.m. You can do
Okay.
you
It's
can
like
start.
a regular day then.
That's
yeah.
right. You can do all other alcohol starting at about 9:30, and you're good for the day. So we encourage that. It is just a Christmas party. We want to hear about people's favorite holiday memories. So, if we get a big dressage name on, it's not going to be talking about their horses or dressage. It's going to be talking about their holiday memories, either from when they're growing up or maybe it's more recently, but something that involves horses. And we've already started kind of quizzing people that are going to be on, and some of the stories we're getting are pretty amazing. So we really want you to participate by calling in. And you can call in live that day. Tell us about your favorite Christmas holiday memory. Wish your family, your barn, your horses a Merry Christmas. We don't care. It's just a party. You can talk to Reese. You can hang out and talk to Wendy and I and Reese. We just want you here. And
And drinking
Sounds
eggnog
fun.
with us.
that's right.
And
Drinking
eggnog.
or wine or whatever you happen to be drinking
We're
that
cocktail
day.
hour,
Yeah.
so we're good. Thank goodness you gave. I think
You
that
know
was
what?
smart, Glenn. You gave me cocktail hour.
I did.
Just
I
saying.
gave you cocktail hour. That's right.
Goodness.
Guess who follows you? The Horse Husband's Hour. So there
Oh, it's
you go.
before me.
No, we're
That's
after
right.
you. We're after you.
Oh, you're after. Oh,
Yes.
Lord.
And then guess who we
Hopefully.
put last between 8 and 9 o'clock in the 12th hour? The
Mm.
eventers.
Oh, that makes sense. Yep. I should have guessed that.
Yeah.
How cool is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, they're gonna still be around for it, right?
We'll see if any of them are sober between 8 and 9 o'clock.
No.
But
Yes. Probably not.
Okay.
so this is so people the way you qualify for these amazing prizes is that you do two things. You either call live, that qualifies you, And also, you can send us a voicemail ahead of time. And so if you can't make it or you're too scared to call live, you can just drop us a voicemail. You can just do a simple, Merry Christmas to your friends and family. You can give a Merry Christmas to Reese and Philip, or you can get creative. And this is what we encourage. Maybe show off your amazing singing voice and sing a Christmas song.
What about impersonations?
You can do an impersonation. You can write
Love
a
it.
poem. Maybe rewrite the 12 Days of Christmas for Reese and Philip. You could play a holiday tune. Maybe you play the piano or the guitar. Whatever it is.
That's awesome.
If you're really chicken, get your kids to do it.
Kids with ponies
That's
always
right.
win. I'm just saying, people.
That's true. And if you get your pony to do it, that's even better.
Ooh, that would be even cooler.
That's even cooler. I have a couple examples. We have done this in the past on Horses in the Morning, and I have some examples if you want to maybe get the juices flowing. So we've had some very clever ones over the years and some very, simple ones that were fun too. And so this is one of your dressage listeners. Her name, you've interviewed her here on the show, Doreen Rose up from Long Island.
She's adorable.
Well,
Yes.
this is one she sent us in the past. Playing a little Templeton Thompson there.
Hello, this is Doreen Rose from Long Island, wishing everybody at the Horse Radio Network a very happy holiday season.
I'm wishing you a very Merry Christmas, hoping that you're warm and home.
So there you go. There's one of them.
That's lovely. That's easy.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That's simple.
With some great prizes.
And Doreen's great.
She is fun.
Yeah.
And then some people went crazy. So we have next, I don't know if you've ever watched the TV show Ice Road Truckers,
Oh, yeah.
but Lisa Kelly from Ice Road Truckers, the girl on the show, the only girl, the star of the show, is a big listener of the Horse Radio Network. So she was driving her truck one day when she heard the call out, and she pulled over. She wrote this while driving on the ice roads, actually, during the middle of winter, pulled over her truck over to record this and send it to us. There's a lot of bells.
Good morning, Horses in the Morning. This is Lisa Kelly, and I wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas with a little poem I made up. Was the night before Christmas when all through the house, all the critters were stirring, even my spouse. My hubby has back pain, a herniated disc that causes him to kick with a lot of frisk. The kitties are nocturnal and currently engaged in a fight, screeching and howling over a dead Christmas sprite. The horses are kicking the feed dish, proclaiming they'll eat whenever they wish. The dog lifts her head and opens an eye as I grab my things and wave goodbye. I'm off to work, you see, because I promised to work this Christmas Eve. As I started my semi and climbed inside, skipping Christmas one more year, I justified. I banged to a load and started my haul, a little more money to finish the stall. Only one more year, I promised my honey. You know how badly we need the money. But I had said this year after year, and I knew I was lying, and so did my dear. Because bills keep coming and things which to spend, I knew the cycle would never really end. We always think just a little bit more, and that soon becomes our eternal war. So while I'm sitting on the road alone, remember that who you've left at home. Don't do as I do as I say, and have yourself a Merry Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, guys, from the road.
Isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I wanted to give her a great big hug after that. It's like, oh
That
my
was
gosh.
Yeah, working
Love
on
it.
Christmas Day.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, Leslie Wiley is of Horse Nation. She's the executive editor of Horse Nation, which you are probably familiar with. And it's one of a very popular blog. And
Yeah, big time.
she calls in every Monday morning to our Horses in the Morning show. So she felt that she had to contribute. So this is what she sent us.
Hello there, Horses in the Morning. This is Leslie Wiley from the wacky world of Horse Nation, calling to wish you a Merry Christmas and say thank you for letting us crash your show every Monday morning. We wanted to do something special for you guys, so we hired an amazing singing horse to serenade you and your listeners with a festive Christmas carol. Come on out here, singing horse.
I think she had
Here
been drinking.
goes.
No alcohol involved.
Wow.
Not sure that's a horse.
Impressive.
From all of us here at HorseNation.com, here's wishing you and your loved ones a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year.
Awesome.
And then we really like last one. Hope you're not getting bored with these. They're actually a lot of fun and creative. We have good listeners. They're much more creative than we are. So,
Yeah, than the actual show.
No kidding.
host.
Than us, yes.
So now we love when people call in and sing us holiday tunes and sing us, Christmas songs in foreign languages. Because we have a lot of listeners from around the world. Well, Mona speaks German. She's an immigrant here to the United States, and she did this, and it's actually very, very pretty. I'll just play you a little bit of it. She did the whole thing.
Stille Nacht, heilige Nacht, alles schläft, einsam wach, nur das traute hochheilige Paar.
She actually sang the whole song to us. Yeah.
She's
Lovely.
beautiful.
Very pretty voice.
Talented listeners.
Yep. So
Yeah,
now we
love
have to
it.
find out if any of the dressage listeners are talented.
Well, I'm not.
You're not going to be singing for us anytime soon, Reese.
Oh,
You don't
well,
want that.
I mean, I can if I'm
Philip, you've heard her
I'm not
sing
sure.
maybe after a
Listeners.
few beers.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna like it.
So we want you, the way they can do this, if they go to dressageradioshow.com or horseradionetwork.com, there's a banner in the middle of the page for the Radiothon. There's a whole website for the Radiothon. You can go there. There's a section that says leave holiday voicemail. It gives you all the instructions. You can record it on your phone, even on the phone audio recorder. Every phone has one. And just email it to me. Or you can call our voicemail line and do it that way. So it's very simple, very easy to do. Even if you're just wishing a Merry Christmas to Reese and Philip, that qualifies you for the prizes. Weatherbeta is giving away a bunch of stuff. We have Benefab. You know Benefab.
Oh, they're fantastic products.
Well,
fantastic. The blanket.
They're giving a blanket away as the grand prize. That's like a
awesome.
$400
Blanket.
value.
Blanket's really nice, everybody. You want the blanket.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And
When
that's
it gets cold.
That's the ceramic blanket, and they're giving that away as a grand prize at the end of the night, along with Soar No More and Weatherbeta. That's going to be $800 grand prize at the end of the night. So we're giving away prizes every hour, and then the grand prize at the end of the night. To qualify, you either have to send us a voicemail of any kind, or call in live.
Yeah.
One of the two. And if you send a voicemail, say this is for Reese and Philip, or this is for the Dressage Show, so we know, so they can get credit
'cause
for
we
it.
want
Yeah, we got to
get
track
credit.
our listeners.
We
That's right. We
want
got to
to
win
get
this
credit.
thing.
So get creative, get it in, but we need it in by Thanksgiving Day. So get them in because we have to put them all together that weekend for November 30th.
I assume that's the American Thanksgiving
Yes,
Day.
that would be Thursday to help out the Canadians. That would be Thursday the 26th because then we have all weekend. We have to get them together before the 30th. So Monday the 30th is the big day. So there you go. I got to entertain you with a little song.
We love it when you stop by and as a guest capacity. Normally you're here as our producer.
I know I don't have to work tonight. That's really nice.
I know. Yeah, you're leaving us.
Believe me,
You're leaving,
putting
yeah.
12 hours together with all these moving parts it's more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's
So,
always when you do a project like this, you're like, oh, it'll just be,
It'll be a
this.
great
And then
time.
it becomes.
yeah.
Something.
But that's
totally
awesome.
different.
But that's really
Yeah.
cool, though.
Yeah. It is cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing Reese. Philip, you promised to call in at one of your airport stops.
I will call
Yeah.
in.
Okay. So I don't care what hour it is during the day, between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. We just want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
that's for sure.
Sounds
Good.
awesome.
That sounds terrific. We won't embarrass
Hopefully
you too bad.
during our time, Phil.
Yeah, it might be possible. You never know with airplanes and airports and all that.
And you know, if
Yeah.
he's had a alcoholic beverage or two in the airplane, he might even sing for us.
Oh, that would be good. He'll be off
Yeah.
vacation.
yeah. No,
Not happening.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
All right. As soon as we find out who our big dressage guests are, we will be announcing that on the Facebook page for Dressage Radio Show. So,
Absolutely.
all right.
Cool.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
fun.
All right.
We'll see you
ya.
soon.
Well, Phil, I am sad you're going to miss the radiothon, but I'll
I'm
hold
gonna
down the
call
fort
in.
for us.
I'm gonna
You're gonna call
I'm sad
in,
we're
yeah.
I'm gonna miss our hour of power together,
Yeah.
but I'll kind of, and I'm gonna really try to make it during our dressage hour and be a good employee, I guess.
Exactly. Well, and truly, everybody call in because I don't think we win anything, but we want to try to at least have bragging rights at the Horse Radio Network. So
yeah,
please
yeah,
call
exactly.
in.
It's all about our bragging rights and to
Yeah,
show
it's all
that
about bragging rights at
we
this
do
point.
have the best listeners.
We do, so we're excited. Well, we're actually going to jump right into Amy Gimbel. We're getting into our meat and potatoes here about the U.S. National Finals, and Amy is a amateur rider who I actually have known for many years. We did Young Riders together, and I hope you enjoy her interview. Well, this evening, it is truly my pleasure to have Amy Gimbel on from New Jersey. Amy and I did Young Riders together, and we had the pleasure of being stabled together at the National Finals last week at the Kentucky Horse Park. Amy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, Amy really did think I was kidding when I was like, hey, what you doing on Thursday night? Would you like to come on the Dressage Radio show? And I was like, no, I'm really not kidding. So she really did get roped into this. So thanks, Amy.
It's a good thing you're
I'm
not
ready.
losing a
I'm
lot
ready.
of friends. You know?
I know. Not yet.
People are gonna avoid you. You're gonna
like
be
the
stable all by yourself.
I know. Well, Amy and I, we did figure we have been friends a long time. We got to know each other doing Young Riders. And what I love about Amy's story is she is an incredibly good rider and incredibly hard worker. But Amy, you decided not to actually go the professional route. You're an adult amateur rider now, which is funny to say because you're a fantastic rider and you really could have gone professional. But what do you do now in real life?
Well, first, thank you very much for the compliment. And my quote-unquote real job is I am a reinsurance broker for a company called Guy Carpenter, which is a part of Marsh & McLennan. And I started there in 2003, which sounds crazy. I can't believe I've been working for that long. But I graduated college, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, so I came home and was riding and kind of playing with the horses, and a friend of mine found out that I was at home sort of doing my own thing, and he said, come in and interview, and finally kind of all came together, and I am in work in Morristown, New Jersey, and that's kind of my daily job, and then at night or in the morning before work, I take care of the horses, and
I think horse people or somebody who's been in training or done the working student thing makes a pretty good employee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you've done working students, we were just talking about it. If you've done a working student, you know how to work hard and you know how to, meet expectations and, be on time and all these things that make a good general employee.
I think so too. And, it's so funny that you said on time. I try so hard all the time to be on time for personal things, we're going to grab dinner or what have you. And there's always a reason for why I need to stop and do something at the barn. And I say it'll take 5 minutes, and 10 minutes later, John, my other half, is like, Amy, we've got to go. I'm like, okay. But I am not late for meetings and important things and shows like that. But I don't know why. There's just something. I can always find something else to do at the barn. It is for sure my nemesis for being on time.
I think that's across the board. I am very, very much the same. It's terrible. And Travis is also the same. Like, get in the car. We gotta go. I'm like, uh-oh. So, Amy, we were just chatting. I love your Olympic sport when you come home. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of your schedule for the day and your Olympic sport? Because it's fantastic.
Sure. So the morning is obviously my office hours start. We start at 8:30 and we work till 5:30, but often during our busy time that can easily be a lot later, and the mornings can be a lot earlier. But I am a little fanatical about picking my paddocks, and so the days are quite short this time of year. So no matter what, when I get home, it's dark, and I insist on picking my paddocks. So I've created my own Olympic sport of nighttime picking, and it's the part of the paddocks are in the dark, and I sometimes, but rarely, use a flashlight. You kind of let your eyes get used to the dark, and you are out there, you're like, I see you. You can't get away from me. And you pick your paddocks, and in the morning you see how good of a job you've done. But in the winter, it's really the hardest. If the poop sits all night, you can't get it in the morning. It's frozen, and then it builds up. And springtime, it becomes really miserable. So I get even more OCD about it as the temperatures keep dropping, because I hate the idea of the horses being, surrounded by poop.
Well, I love it. You had me cracking up at the horse show about it. It was so funny because we all have something like that. So I get it. Well, Amy, so we had you on because you did a fantastic job at the U.S. National Finals. So let's start. Tell us a little bit about your mare, Candy.
Well, Candy is very much a chestnut mare. She's a 6-year-old UB40 Weltmeyer, and I started riding her a little under 2 years ago. She was actually Heather's horse, my trainer, Heather Mason, and Heather didn't have time for her. Lucky for me, bad for Heather. And so she said, do you think you could have time? And a horse that I had previously been riding was sold, so I started riding her, and she was not the easiest, but we just sort of started to click more and more. And then actually before Nationals last year, Heather said, I'm going to put her up for sale, as we had discussed when I started riding her. I'm going to give you, if you want to buy her, let me know. And I said, I don't want another horse. I have 2, one's retired, and I don't want 3 horses. And someone was interested in her, and I could literally feel my heart pounding, because the thought of her being with someone else was just the worst possible thing. So right before Nationals last year, we started the process. I had her vetted, and we were kind of going through the pieces of sale negotiation. And I was unloading her from the trailer after being vetted, and she slipped on the ramp and split her fetlock open. So she had to be in the stall 10 days. No movement, no riding, no hand walking, nothing. So we went into finals last year with like 6 rides under our belt, because between that and then I had a work trip right before finals. So last year was a huge sort of anxiety finals for us. And after finals, I decided I absolutely should buy this horse. So going into this finals was a little bit more relaxed, so I didn't have the anxiety of whether or not I was buying her and how she was going to be after standing in the stall for so many days. But she's really something special, because she has a very strong opinion, and you have to be really willing to take all of your focus and put it on her. So even in the paddock or in the barn, or when you're on her, it's 100% focus on her. And it actually changed a little bit of the way even I conduct my day, because when I get here to feed her, whatever happened during the workday, like, I have to leave it at the car. I have to leave it outside that paddock, because she demands 100% of your attention. And it really kind of gives you that decompression time, because you have to. You have to be 100% focused, and it sort of has changed a little bit of how my day goes, because everything has to slow down a little bit. My mind has to slow down, my movements, everything has to be, when I'm with her, has to be about her and focused on her. So that really has been, I think, something special for me. And she just is very charismatic under saddle. The judges really love her, and I need to figure out a little bit better how to take some of her energy and keep it into being constructive. We had a couple blips in our tests at regionals and at finals, but overall, I mean, she's a blast to ride. I don't get off of her and think, oh man, I wish we had done this. I get off her smiling every day. So I feel very, very lucky about that.
Awesome. Amy, what level were you riding? And maybe give us a little rundown of your tests.
Sure. So she's 6 coming 7. She did 2nd and 3rd level this year. She's schooling a little bit of everything in 4th level. And at finals this year, we did 2nd level, 3rd level, and 2nd level freestyle, the championships for those. So super lucky. We went into regionals with qualified for those 3, and we were able to qualify for nationals for all 3 of those championships. And she placed actually in the top 3 for all those, and that was amazing, absolutely. And our last ride, she was the champion for the second level freestyle, so that was even more amazing to have gone through the show and have our last test be our best one. And I think the nationals and sort of the vibe that you get throughout the show, it's really amazing. I mean, obviously having the opportunity to reconnect with Reese and sort of see so many people that you have met along the way, all being at the same show, is absolutely something special.
Yeah, it really was a fun week. I mean, I think that sums it up so well. Is it really is something special. You're there, and it's like Amy kept getting on for award ceremonies. I was like, yeah, girl, it was so exciting, and it was super fun. And I do think that that's the vibe that you get when you're there. So it's fantastic. So Amy, tell us, what is the next step for you and Candy?
That is a really good question, and it's funny. A couple of people that were also at nationals, sort of from our area, you get home from nationals, you're like, okay, yeah, what's next? And the what's next is a long, cold winter. Yeah. So you really start to think about, okay, well, what's the plan for next year? And the first thing in your mind is, let's go back to Kentucky. And then you kind of work backwards from there. I'm not 100% sure what, obviously, I'd love to bring her out next year and do 3rd and 4th level. I'm not sure Pre-St. George is 100% in the plans just yet. I mean, she is really young. I don't want to rush her. But if she's ready, maybe we'll go to do the 4th level at Pre-St. George. But right now, I sort of have my sights set on 3rd, 4th, and then the freestyles for both levels, respectively, and sort of see where winter brings us. If it's winter is anything like last year, it could be really slow going in the training process. Certainly last year, I think almost everybody in the Northeast lost most of January and part of February just from the really cold temperatures.
It's not going to be like that again, Amy.
I hope not.
That was a winter for all time, So
yeah, it was I've been in New Jersey and living on the same street for 34 years, and I cannot remember a year where there were so many days that you couldn't ride just because of the temperatures. And part of that, I think, also is if you're in the office, the warmest part of the day, obviously, is lunchtime, and you can't be at the barn. So I would get home at 6:30, let's say, and it's already 13 degrees. There's just no way there's no way that's happening. And then we had ice and all this bananas. So hopefully it'll be a really mild winter, and we'll have the opportunity to really kind of work on strength and training. And for Candy especially, I really focus a lot of my ride, not so much on the lateral work, but a lot on sort of transitions and strength and encouraging her to carry more weight behind. And I actually don't do a ton of flying changes with her. I kind of figure that they will eventually work themselves out. And I really want to keep them nice and calm and quiet. So I think I work them one day between regionals and nationals. And I think this winter we'll have to start to work them a little bit more consistently and work on trying to get the tempies, but that's not going to be a priority. I really think that they will come when it's ready.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, we have fingers crossed for everybody that it's not a terrible winter. And Amy, I want to pinky swear that you and I are going to try our hardest to stable next to each other at U.S. Finals next year.
Heck yeah. It's already on the goal list.
It's
stable
on
next to Reese at 2016.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Amy, thanks so much for coming on the show, and we will keep in touch with you this year.
Thank you so much.
Well, that was a great interview with Amy, and we're going to come back now with Mike Suhanik. He's going to have our Total Saddle Fit tip of the week, and he's also going to tell us about what it's like to ride professionally in the amateur divisions at the U.S. National Finals. This evening, I am super excited to have Mike Suhanik, young horse trainer at Leatherdale Farms, on the program. Mike, how are you this evening?
Well, I'm doing great, Reese. Thanks for talking to you.
We have been competing all summer together. We first met at the Young Horse Finals, and then the Region 4 Finals, and then at the National Finals. So I was super happy to snag you for an interview at the finals.
That's true. Yeah, it's been a really great year to show off the horses and compete against such great riders.
It's been lots of fun. I have to be honest. I think you've beaten me every time. I'm not going to lie. So no, I'm always like, oh, Mike's in my class. No, just kidding. You're a great rider and you have fantastic horses.
Thank you.
So, Mike,
Thank
you know,
you.
let's start. I mean, you had tons of horses that you compete. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do at the Leatherdales farm and all the horses that you've been competing this year?
Well, I've had 7 horses I've been competing this year at Leatherdale Farms. I'm the young horse trainer, so I've been starting all their young stock that they've been breeding, and they've had a great breeding program there, and I brought along some of their young stuff that I've started over the last 5 years, because that's how long I've been working there. And,
that's
I brought,
fantastic. Yeah,
yeah.
and getting horses to the show ring, you know, is the coup de grace in a way.
It is. It's so fulfilling to be able to bring them from my first step into the stirrup to all the way to nationals, actually. And it's been a great fulfilling.
So at nationals, which classes were you riding in? And can you give us a little rundown of? I think you brought 4 to nationals. You told us, and give us just a little rundown about each one.
I competed from training level through pre-St. George, actually in the championship classes. And a training level and first level, I had a horse named Dublin. He's 4-year-old. Hanoverians are what they breed there at the farm.
Yeah.
And he did great in both his classes, placed in the top 10. Came in 9th in his training level class and 6th in his first level class. I was pretty proud of him to be able to compete in such an atmosphere and against such great riders there at nationals.
And that's what we had been talking about, you know, that this it's such a big event, especially for a baby horse. You know, I can't imagine riding a 4-year-old and all that. It's such a big event, and there's rings everywhere and people. So, I mean, congratulations on riding a baby. It's such a young,
right?
Successfully. So, Mike, what was the next horse that you rode?
That would have been Fleur de Lis, her full name is, and she rode in 2nd level and 3rd level. She came in championship. She came in 1st in her 2nd level class.
Yay!
And really proud of her. She did great. I'm just amazed at how much she just progresses each time I ride her each week.
And she is a lovely horse.
There.
Yeah.
Thank you. She was there last year too in her training level class. She got reserve champion, so I was so proud of her to step up and bring home a championship ribbon this year.
Awesome.
Very good. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And the next one in the line there?
The next one in the lineup.
I know. And the next one was Hero. He's a big horse out of His Highness, and just a great line of horses. And he placed 9th in his 3rd level championship class. That's the only one he rode in. But,
yeah, that was the class. Yeah, he was with me, and he is a lovely horse. He's really a beautiful quality horse. You know, in the warm up, I'm always a little nervous when I see you bringing him. I'm like, oh no, Hero's here. But he's a beautiful horse.
He's my powerhouse, and he really brings a lot of presence and ability to his classes. It's always fun to get him moving around the ring.
He's gorgeous, and that was a big class in a super competitive 3rd level. I think we had the most competitive class. I'm not going to lie. That was a super competitive third level class for sure. Really tight scores. But he's a beautiful one. And how about your pre-St. George one?
Yeah, Corenzo is his name. I've only had him for about a year and a half. They bought him as a performance horse and imported him, and he did a few 2nd level classes before I got him, and then after I got him, he showed a lot of talent and just progressed up the levels quickly. And I rode him in 4th level in pre-St. George, and he brought home the championship for fourth level, and that was really awesome.
Yeah,
And then the
that's
Pre St.
amazing.
George, I fell right in the middle of the pack, about 15th place, I believe, out of about 30 plus riders. So I was really proud of that too. Excited to be able to finish in such strong competition there.
So did you have you gotten a little bit of rest after the nationals, and sort of what's next for this group of horses?
Yeah, I've given the show horses a little bit of time off this week, but we're coming home. We're gonna start training them and moving them along. Keep learning and progressing up through the levels. I actually rode for the lead today and trained some tempies. We did 4 3s and a couple of 1s even.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what we like that.
Just right on,
Yes,
right
that
on.
girl.
Eh? Just keep going.
She just loves to learn that one, and she learns so quickly, and it's just so much fun and exciting.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
So, Mike, we also snagged you for a Total Saddle Fit Trainer Tip of the Week. So what is your trainer tip for us this week?
My trainer tip is groundwork. It's so essential to build that trust with the horse on the ground, because then it flows into having that trust in the saddle. I've really found that the more work I do from the ground up, I have an easier time training from the saddle, and them trusting me and moving them around the arena.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome tip. I do a little bit the same thing, because my thing is that it's always safer to be doing stuff from the ground than to teaching the horse when you're on top. Even if it's the best horse and they're really quiet and everything. I think you're just building confidence for the horse. And sometimes when you get on their back and you're trying to teach stuff, especially the early guys, the 3-year-olds that they don't have that sort of confidence, and if you can do it early from the ground, I think even with a 2-year-old, you can do not a ton of lunging, but at least some groundwork. So tell us some things that you do with the young horses to build this trust and confidence.
Well, aside from the lunging, and then I do a lot of ground driving too to teach them. Before I get in the saddle, that they can move and turn when I ask them to move, and then they can. And then I do a lot of desensitizing with. Anything I find around the barn, really. I use an umbrella, I use pool noodles and tarps and just different things to get them less scared of objects that you might encounter later on. And then they trust me to be able to...
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you do kind of groundwork, but also some desensitization with these youngsters.
Yeah.
Great. And when do you start this? When do you start the groundwork? Like, what age do you usually bring them in and start this kind of work with them?
At about 2, we do a lot of putting blankets on and boots, and and then they get used to all that and stuff on their bodies. And then at about 3 years old, I start putting them into the program and start with surf single and blankets, pads, saddle pads, and the bridle and all that, and I just keep progressing that way, but adding still some desensitization, objects that I may, like ropes and tarps in the arena, but also I'll sensitize them to my aids of being able to move them out on the lunge line or out while I'm ground driving them. So it's a nice balance between the two, and that kind of makes a good horse.
Yeah, and your horses are all very, very well behaved and do a very good job. So, Mike, tell us, so you bring them in at 2. How often do you sort of work the 2 and the 3-year-olds? Like, how many times a week? How long? That's always a question that we get from people about young horses. Like, how much is too much or not enough, or how do you do that?
Sure. It's not long as a 2-year-old. I'd say your training sessions can be just 5 minutes is long enough sometimes for them to understand and get what you're trying to come across with. And then you just kind of increase a little bit of time as a 3-year-old, and, you see how much they can mentally take, not just physically, but mentally they can handle. And then, you kind of add things here and there, and you don't focus too long on one thing. Like you wouldn't focus too long on just lunging, but you would switch it up and you would add ground drag, or I would bring them over to the mounting block and stand up next to them and wave my ropes around and creating a nice balance that way, so they don't get bored, but they don't get overly stressed either.
Yeah, I think that was a good point that you said about the 5 minutes, because I think sometimes, when you work with a horse and the horse is very, very good, you're sort of tempted to like move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing. Whereas I think that you have to think about that when the horse is good, if you just keep adding more and more work, then they learn that their good behavior doesn't get rewarded, right? And then they start to
exactly.
then you're just pushing and pushing and pushing all the time until you find something they don't like, and then you've got a real big problem on your hands. I think sometimes you expect them to have a problem with your new thing, but sometimes you never know, the horses will surprise you and say, hey, I'm good with that. I can walk across a tarp, or I can lunge in a circle. And you have to really step back and say, that was a great lesson for today, and I can finish the good lesson by stopping what I'm doing and rewarding the horse. Even if they didn't give you an issue or a problem, you can reward them, that they learn that when they're good, the lesson is short. And then next time you add the next thing, or a week later you add the next thing, and not just to say, oh, this is a great horse, I gotta. It's the same with training, with the movements and things, but also just even with this groundwork. You can take your time and really say, I don't need to cause a problem for the horse to learn a good lesson. So I like that you said that. I wanted just to expand on that a little bit.
Well, thank you. Yeah, exactly. I absolutely appreciate that direction you take for horses, and I think it's worked well for me, and I did it as a teenager too when I first started training on horses with my mom, and that's kind of the progression we took.
Yeah, no, and I think that's right. I mean, I think with the young ones especially, it's time, and you have to be
learning
careful.
Life lessons. You want them to continue to be good horses forever, right? And even small mistakes will cause problems for you for a long time, for forever. So got to give them a good start.
Got to give them a good start, and just take your patience, take your time sometimes.
It's so true. Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming on the Dressage Radio Show tonight. And if how can people get in touch with you on the internet?
They can find me on Facebook under my name, Mike Sahonic, or they could contact me through the Lauderdale Farms page also.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Mike. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
This tip brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, the shoulder relief girth that Reese and Philip both love. And here's why.
The saddle fit solution you have been waiting for is finally here. TotalSaddleFit.com is proud to introduce the Shoulder Relief Girth. This strategically shaped girth actually moves the girth line of your saddle back over 1 inch, thereby freeing your horse's shoulders from the saddle. Traditional girths pull saddles up against a horse's shoulders and often over the top of the shoulders. The shoulder relief girth's recessed ends allow for the billets to buckle into the girth farther back to give your horse unparalleled freedom of motion. We are so certain that your saddle will fit better and your horse will be more comfortable that for a limited time we are offering a 30-day, 110% money-back guarantee. If you are not totally satisfied with your shoulder relief girth, send it back for a full refund plus 10% of the purchase price. Don't wait. Order now for the best saddle fit solution available.
At TotalSaddleFit.com. Visit TotalSaddleFit.com.
Well, we're almost done our show, and I think it was a good show this week, and we're wrapping up the USDF National Finals and sort of on to the next thing, right? And we were talking about the holidays a lot. But we do have an email shout-out this week from Katie H. She was asking about the class that you teach at the University of Kentucky. You sort of mentioned it a couple of times, but you haven't told us what you're teaching and what the students are learning. So can you give us a little rundown of what your class is about?
Yeah, sure. My other part-time job is I laugh about that. That's my Monday part-time job. Yeah, I was asked by the University of Kentucky Department or College of Agriculture, Food and Environment to come in and teach a class on the global sport horse industry. So I actually really enjoy it. I was a little nervous in the beginning, like anything, starting a new venture. I was a little bit nervous about the extra workload. It's not too bad until I have to actually grade 32 papers when I assign papers. But it's been really fun. So on Monday is usually a little bit quieter day here at my farm. And so I enjoyed, I head to the university about 3 o'clock. And for me, it's nice. I get to dress in not barn clothes. I get to have a shower and
You
put
have
some
to
makeup
shower
on.
once in a while.
Yeah, I do have to shower. I guess in theory I could show up in my riding pants. But
So if I was one of your students, what am I going to be learning from your class?
yeah, so one of the issues with the University of Kentucky equine management program was it's a good thing, but it's highly thoroughbred sort of oriented.
Right.
And a lot of the students are coming now because of the, kind of the area, and the horse park is really a hub now for also sport horse.
There's a lot more sport horse farms. I noticed that last time I was there that people are moving in for the summer, maybe from the East Coast or from Florida, to be involved in the shows, all the shows that are going on in Kentucky and all that kind of thing. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And also work here, at the horse park. I think there's over 100 equine organizations that are headquartered at the horse park. So there's a lot of job opportunities. Maybe not also, the racehorse industry for sure, but the sport horse. So they felt like they really needed to bring that into the program a little bit. So I have a master's degree in international commerce and diplomacy. So to be an adjunct at the university, you have to have a master's degree. So they said, hey, by the way, would you be interested in teaching this program or this class? And I thought about it and I said, sure, in a weak moment. But no, it's been fantastic. And I teach from 5 to 7:30 every Monday night. In the fall, I won't teach the class in the spring because I'm in Florida most of the time. But really the class talks about everything from working with for-profit groups like the USDF or the FEI to nonprofit organizations and marketing a sport horse. We talk about my mind is going a blank. They just did a big marketing project this week. They do analysis of different sport horse organizations. It's a big project for the classes. As we all know, there's so many organizations and the alphabet soup.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Along with. So they do that, and so we talk about all kinds of things along the lines that you would do in the sport horse industry, and what it's like to compete a horse, and what are the regulations, and how you get passports, and all of these things that you would.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, so it's been a great, and certainly you can PM me or email me at Reese at Horse Radio Network if you want to learn a little bit more about the class and for sure about the university. I'd love to tell you, and I'll pass you along to the right people. So it's been fun. So thanks for asking that question. So it's been a good time. So you can find our show notes and links to today's guests on our website at dressageradio.com. Like us on Facebook, just search Dressage Radio Show. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and my email is reese@horseradionetwork.com.
You can find me at philipparksequestrian.com, and my email is philip@horseradionetwork.com. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for allowing us to put on a great show, and don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Everybody, keep your heels down and your shoulders back, and we'll talk to you next week.